Tiny Hearts is an award-winning app studio based in Toronto, and what we do is we make apps that people love, mostly consumer apps, and we also work with some clients on creating apps for them using the same philosophies of creating simple and beautiful apps that make people's lives better in small and meaningful ways.
Can you summarize your top tips for creating chart-topping apps?
Sure, some of my top tips are starting with the idea and evaluating that idea to make sure that it's something that is suitable for the marketplace. Some ways that I've done this is by exploring the app space in general and downloading lots of apps and learning more about the space and kind of figuring out the key ingredients that make certain apps climb the charts while others don't. Besides that, the other thing is understanding the market itself and the trends around the market, figure out where things are going and try to position yourself in the right place. And then once you kind of have an idea, you need to think about it from a solution point of view. What problem are you solving? Who are you solving it for? And Apple has a really good tip around this. They encourage you to write an app definition statement, which essentially describes the purpose of your app, who it's for, and how it works in one or two sentences. So that's the idea piece, and the idea also needs to be very shareable. The other piece that I talked about was the business part. You need to think about it as a business and not just an app. So you need to put some thought into the business model and figure out how you're going to sustain the products that you're putting out there. Without a business model, it just becomes a hobby. And besides that, I talked about design. Design is really important, just from the user experience and the user perspective, but also differentiating your app from the others and distributing your apps. The ones that are really designed well and innovate there have a much easier chance of getting the attention of the press and getting the attention of Apple. And lastly, it's optimizing for the outcome. The outcome at the end of the day is to try to help somebody do something easier, help them save money, educate them, whatever it is, you need to be helping your users, and that will help your business, and that will be good for the bottom line.
Definitely, well thank you. And I mean, my next question would be based around kind of the events. We've had a lot of aspiring app developers here today. What advice would you give them?
Two things. Number one, start with your homework, understand the market and the space that you want to get into. Number two, just start. And you learn a lot by getting started, and that's really the best teacher, right? And learning by experience, but you should have a good understanding of the market, and you should do your homework and kind of put some thought into things like the idea and things like your goal. Why are you doing it, right? And what do you want to get out of it? Optimize for that. But just starting is the best advice that I've ever heard, and that's how I learned what I do now today.
Great. I like that theory. Just get involved. So, what was your biggest challenge you faced when creating your first app?
Biggest challenge was learning about the space. All of it was new to me. I think this was kind of a challenge and also a benefit in that you're still kind of naive and you don't know what can't be done. But also sometimes it might take a lot of time to get caught up. Another big challenge today is for somebody getting into the space is the competition. There's so much apps out there, and the quality of these apps has gone up really high. So the production value of your apps need to be much, much better, and that is really hard for somebody who's creating their first app, but not impossible.
So how did you come up with the concept for your first app?
So there's a few things that led to that idea. I was at a place in my life where I had just gotten married. I was expecting my first child. I was thinking about the kids' app space. I thought, and I saw some opportunities there. Parents were buying these expensive devices, and they were sharing it with their kids. And there was an opportunity to create compelling applications for kids. I was just about to become a dad. That was one thing. And then the other piece was just from my research, I was looking at and trying a lot of apps, and I came across this compelling feature in one specific application. I thought that could be blown out into its own experience. And nobody was really doing that. So I took that idea and I created the app Pocket Zoo, which is a comprehensive animal app. It's an educational and entertainment app for kids and for nature lovers. And it's used by kids and parents and teachers and adults alike.
That's great. And I mean, my last question would be, what advice would you give to developers for keeping their apps fresh and up to date?
I think the advice that I would give to them is to start thinking about not just version 1. Most people are thinking about their first version, but version 1 is just the beginning, and you should have that philosophy and have a roadmap of what you plan to include in different updates and schedule that. right? Schedule it like you schedule your launch. And always remember, version 1 is just the beginning.
So how have you enjoyed the show the last 2 days?
I really enjoyed myself. I got a lot of benefit from the keynote speakers. As a keynote speaker myself, I thought that I would be spending more time thinking about what I'm going to say, but I actually spent more time listening to the talks, and they were amazing. And I really enjoyed also the roundtable sessions. I think those were very interactive and allowed you to connect with your peers. And it was a great actually way to network as well. I thought that was really, really smart, and haven't seen a lot of conferences do something like that.